Folks, the moment you all been waiting for. The Mega W. It is here. All right, so we got this in like a couple hours ago, all right? And like I'm excited. We've been working on this for so long now.
Long time.
So long. So check this out. This is beautiful. Okay?
Sexy time.
All right, so this is just a prototype.
Yep.
But I would assume this being your first workable prototype, this is going to be very similar to what's going to be out on the market.
Yeah, it should be very similar. You'll see a couple of things since it's a prototype. It's not stitched. It's going to be stitched.
Yeah. Looks like we had to cut that.
The inside edge here had to be trimmed by hand because they usually make a cutting die, but
right.
I haven't tooled the cutting die yet because I haven't tooled the cone body yet either.
Right.
So what we're doing here is we use the Megarol V2 cone body, which isn't perfect, but it works.
Right.
For now, and then we'll tool the real one.
So this is what we're calling the Mega W, okay? And if folks look at a first glance, you're like, oh, that's been made before.
Right.
This has not been made before. This is very different than a lot of things you see
Right,
in the market.
right.
And so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what the differences are from what you see on the market now that have these, what do they call them, multiple roll surrounds?
Multi-roll surrounds, yeah.
And what we have available now.
So I'm going to start out with the one that everybody immediately says, oh, it looks like Alpine Hammer, which is high amplitude multi-roll suspension. It's not at all like Hammer. Hammer is like a standard roll with a bunch of little rolls on top of it, which is a cool thing. It extends excursion in a given roll size. That's not what we're doing. Then they're like, oh, it looks like a Sherwin Vega V-Flex, which is also a multi-roll, but it's just two rolls side by side.
Multi-roll stuff's been out since
and then
60s and
most
70s.
Most Pro Sound drivers are multi-rolls. They're just like little rolls side by side. And they're usually identical, generally. Now, this is where this kind of veers off. None of the rolls are the same. Each one is a different size.
Gotcha.
And so that allows us to engineer the compliance that we want. So, and actually the shape of the compliance curve. And the main goal here is, we've gone as far as we can go with fabric spider technology while still keeping it linear.
Right.
We don't want to put progressive spiders in these things. We don't want to put concrete spiders on these things.
Progressive's loud, but generally not very musical.
It's a lot of people, I shouldn't say, some people prefer the progressive spider because it gives you the punchier sound.
Right.
So I don't want to mess with my spider, really like my spider. But the problem is, I guess it's not really a problem per se, but the thing I want to improve on from the Megarol V2 is the Megarol V2 just stays flat essentially forever as far as we're concerned. Like it has more throw than the basket can handle, and it stays flat the whole time. So when someone abuses their woofer, it basically leaves the spider to soak up all of that abuse.
The work.
Yeah. So what we've done here with the Mega W is we've engineered our compliance curve in the center. The center 60 millimeters peak to peak is basically flat.
This is something you've been working on for a long time.
Quite a while.
Trying to get that 60 millimeters peak to peak without any issues.
Yeah, the problem is if it's not done perfectly, you just get a standard suspension curve. And that's not what I want. Yeah, sometimes you would get a worse standard weather service.
Yes, we understand. Weather.
All right, yeah.
Weather's bad.
Sometimes if it's done improperly, you could get even a worse than a standard compliance curve.
Right.
So it had to be perfect, and the rolls had to be exact right height. So you get your 60 millimeters peak to peak, 30 millimeters one way, basically flat. And then from there, the surround turns progressive.
Okay.
But, so it's not like most progressive spiders, they're progressive from the beginning. They're like,
this is different each.
So
each
this
one's
is
different.
really flat in the center, just basically ruler flat, and then tightens up pretty drastically after that point.
What I noticed, and we're going to show you guys a cool video here in a minute, but what I noticed during throw is that big middle surround, so to speak, or roll, that one seems to move first, right?
Yeah.
So that moves first. That's the so-called softer roll, and you have, it looks like they get they're smaller as they go in.
Yeah, in and out. Yeah, the biggest roll is like right here. Now that's where most of your action is happening. That's the linear portion.
Yep.
And then as it starts to try to activate the other rolls, then those are the ones that tighten up on you. That prevents the damage.
So it's going to tighten up over throw.
It's gonna be flat, totally flat up until that point, and then tighten up.
Yep.
So that's what I'm talking about with engineering the compliance.
Yeah, we're utilizing this already with our SD4 series.
SD4, yeah. The SD4 has about 15 millimeters one way before it gets tight, and it tightens drastically after that.
Now, so nobody's doing this with the big boy woofers yet.
No.
So this is. Nobody's made a multi-roll surround where it can move 60 millimeters.
Yeah.
This is outrageous. This has taken us how long? Maybe 3 years to work on?
Maybe
or
not.
Should say you, not we. I have nothing to do with it.
I would say, let's see. Let me think back. Probably close to that to get it all ironed out. Yeah,
Right.
because I had the other idea, fast, which I was trying to patent,
Right.
and I'm having some difficulty with the patent.
Gotcha.
So then I was like, well, I want to try other ideas too at the same time. So then I started working with this, and the first application I thought of was the SD4, because you literally have a driver that you can easily bottom out.
Oh yeah.
At
Easily.
25 millimeters one way. And a lot of people with the SD3 would bottom it out. That's was the complaint that some people had.
Yep.
So, but I wanted to keep the sound quality, because that sub has about 15 millimeters one way linear. Beyond that, you know, you're risking damaging the sub, whether by the coil leaving the gap or bottoming out at 25.
Yeah.
So that one was an even more drastic as it hit right after 15. By the time you get to 25, it's like 6 times stiffer. It's like you almost can't bottom it out by hand. Whereas an SD3, you can just be like ding, ding,
Right.
ding.
Right.
You know, and so then I was like, man, we should make this bigger. And, you know, and the problem with that is I could not get this manufactured in China.
Right.
Which
That's never heard of, right? And we did try. I remember they actually sent us a couple
I
prototypes.
tried several times, and they couldn't make the shape exactly like my drawing.
Right.
So I did find a company in America, which, you know, some of the guys in the industry don't know, but I'm not going to throw it out there for free. A company in America that can make this, and they're very excited about it. They're just as excited as me. So I've already tooled the surround. Haven't tooled the cutting dies yet. Haven't tooled the cone body yet, but I will. When it goes to production, the surround and the cone body will both be made in America and come to us together.
That's awesome.
And they said they can stitch it for me too.
It's nice to finally get a company in America that will work with us.
And I'm trying to get them to make spiders for me.
Right.
So I've been working on that even longer. It was the first go round. I guess there was some crossed wires, and I didn't get what I wanted.
Right.
But
is it like Nick Wright's story where you got the little itty bitty spider?
No, it wasn't like that. It was just again I'm very particular with the geometry, and it has to be exactly like my drawing, or it's not going to do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, we do what's called FEA
FEA
optimization, and everything has to be perfect to the T.
Yep.
With that program to be able to work the way we want it to work.
And the spider that they initially did for me, the rolls weren't deep enough, but you know, some of the talks I've had with them on the surround and stuff, I think they can actually get it done. It's just we had some wires crossed when we were talking.
Is that pressed or is injected?
This is pressed.
Okay.
And spiders are also
so
pressed.
Is there multiple layers involved in it?
It's a single layer. There's a single.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's awesome.
Yep.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some videos of this thing moving.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
This is so epic. So cool to be here for this. So yeah, you can see as the woofer moves, you can see the rolls are moving at different times and different rates. And that's how we engineer the compliance into it. Brian's got it slowed down here.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. You know, you can see as Brian had
this
said.
Is barely moving, by the way.
Yeah, Brian had said that, you know, you see those kind of the rolls in the middle activate first, and then the outer ones activate. And so the middle ones are where we're getting the flat compliance, and then we get the progressive compliance on the outer rolls.
Yeah. So that is damn sexy. And that's using, and that's, again, this is just a prototyp.
Yeah, that's built on the ZV6 motor right there.
Yeah, there we
Thumbs
go.
up.
So yeah, the Mega W. We've been talking about this for a couple of years now. It wasn't really secret there for. It was secret for a while. Then I know you started talking about it there about a year or so ago, and I think we had a prototype one that we actually brought into the podcast like a year or so ago, just kind of showing it off.
Yeah, I had one that was made in China, and it was not right. They weren't able to press the geometry accurately, but it was cool to see something at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've been kind of just going back and forth in my head, like, how am I going to get this made? It was like China was like, oh, we can't make it with this technique, and then they're like, oh, but we have this other technique. Then I'm like, okay, well, make me a prototype. Oh, never mind, we don't have that stuff anymore. Well, then shit, what do I do?
Well, at least they tried.
Yeah, so the 15 is the only one that's totally designed. So now I got to go back and design all the other sizes.
Right.
And the NSV4 is going to get a version. NSV4 8 is going to get a version of this surround.
Yep. Well, that's awesome. Now, I remember you talking that you may not provide this particular surround on the X series. We might just start at Z series.
Yeah, that's still up in the air.
Okay.
That's still up in the air.
So we're not sure yet, but this is available. Or not available now, but it will be available. This is a real thing. It's happening.
Yep. Yeah.
This will take over the Mega Roll.
Yeah. Still going to take some time. Yep. Because I still have to tool the cone body even on this one. Then we have to fully FEA the 10, the 12, and the 18. Do the tooling, get them in production. You know, so this is still a ways out, but I'm getting pretty excited.
It's a real thing, folks.
Real thing.
Well, I want to say thank you all for watching. I just really wanted to get this out here. This is very exciting. We try to take our company to the next level, and this is part of that next level. So, thank you very much. You all have a wonderful evening.